The Maryland man accused of kidnapping a 13-year-old girl from Kentucky is in court this afternoon. 37-year-old Christian Delgado was arrested on Friday. The missing girl, 13-year-old Winter Wagner, was reported missing from her foster home in Kentucky more than 2 months ago. Authorities say she was found living at Delgado's home here in Silver Spring. Joining us now, criminal defense attorney Joseph Tully. Joseph, good to see you as always.
Thank you. Good to see you.
All right, walk us through kind of what we know so far about this case. A 13-year-old found living with a 37-year-old, more than 2 decades difference, and she'd been missing for 2 months. What are the charges he's facing?
So he's facing kidnapping charges. For right now, we don't know what else is alleged to have occurred. Depending on the investigation, I would expect that some of those, there may be more charges added. However, these will be based out of Kentucky, where the crime was alleged to have occurred. Basically, the police found the missing girl pursuant to a tip. I think we can all breathe a sigh of relief that that occurred. So many of these cases remain tragically unsolved. Delgado was arrested at the scene, and he is currently incarcerated, and he's pending extradition to Kentucky to face the charges of kidnapping.
And do we know anything about the circumstances of how they met, how he picked her up, how he even brought her here into Montgomery County from Kentucky?
From what I've seen, the details are very, very scarce as to exactly the facts behind what happened. So, you know, I'm going to go with the presumption, innocent till proven guilty. These are just allegations. We don't know anything that's going on. However, from the situation, just looking at it logically, making assumptions that aren't that have no factual basis, it almost seems like, yes, there was some kind of connection, and because she was picked up from her home, so it kind of implies that there wasn't a break-in, it wasn't violent, that this was planned, and that she had made no efforts to contact law enforcement. So it looks like this was a coordinated effort.
And missing for 2 months, it's truly a parent's worst nightmare. She's only 13 years old. I'm sure they had been clinging on to hope that she would be found and found safely, which thankfully she was. But, you know, they were offering rewards. They were searching for her. How did they come to find her?
Sure. So the police in Maryland received a tip, and I think pursuant to what the parents had offered, that you may find the girl at this location. They went to that location, they found the girl, an arrest was made, and they've been pursuing these charges ever since.
All right, he's in court this afternoon, so we'll see what is to come. But overall, grateful that she was found safe. Let's move on to topic number 2. New court documents out this morning giving the closest picture yet into the motives of the D.C. pipe bomb suspect. That information coming out in a new court filing ahead of the suspect's detention hearing tomorrow. We're going to stay with Joseph Tully. Thank you so much for sticking around. What do you make of this so far? Some very revealing information directly from his mouth.
It was very revealing, but I have to say it was somewhat bizarre. At first, they allege in the paperwork that he initially denied any involvement, but then gave a very lengthy and detailed statement. A lot of the details that he gave was very nonchalant, not really. He was saying that he wasn't really motivated by anger or hatred. He had questions about the election. He didn't feel that people's votes were being treated fairly, and he didn't like either party. So he left these pipe bombs. He did it at night because he didn't want to hurt anybody. He certainly didn't want to get anybody killed. And again, these are all, you know, his words. What the truth is, we have to see when it comes out in court. But so it was very bizarre in terms of just his cooperation and his motive that he gave. And it raised questions in my mind of maybe some kind of mental health issues that this individual has.
Right. And just reading into those court filings, he sets the bombs. He, you know, allegedly sets them to detonate. Investigators saying it was more so luck that they didn't detonate. He gets dinner and then goes back home.
Yes. His intent was that they would explode. He said that he set 60-minute timers on them, and that he was kind of surprised and relieved, he said, that when the bombs didn't explode. So I think there's going to be a lot more interesting details that will be revealed. However, he's also given in his statement that he wiped all of his electronics, so there may not be ways to verify what he's saying.
Yeah, in those filings, we learned that he wiped his electronic devices more than 1,000 times in the 5 years since he allegedly committed this crime. So, I mean, at that point, you're constantly looking over your shoulders, but 5 years to go with nobody making any moves, and then for all this to come out.
Yes, again, it's bizarre. In a lot of ways, I think the profile of this individual doesn't really match up with somebody, you know, that was maybe where the typical FBI profiler would start. And I think that's why he was able to remain under the radar. So that in itself is very unusual. So we're dealing with out of the gate an unusual situation. The statement that he gave was unusual. So we'll have to wait and see what happened here. 5 years is a long time for the investigation. Let's contrast that with the sort of very aggressive investigation under the Biden administration for other January 6th protesters, rioters, however you want to describe them. And with this individual, one of the main, most important people from that day or from those events, here we are 5 years later, just finding out.
Right, and Cole's detention hearing is tomorrow. Criminal defense attorney Joseph Tully, thank you so much for joining us and for your insight on both cases.
Thank you again for having me.